early newspapers which were started in Telangana and Andhra Pradesh were started by missionaries, and they used to propagate the religious propaganda. And the first Telugu journal we consider as a monthly paper that is called Satyaduta, which started publishing from Bellary in 1835, which printed in Madras, and it is used to concentrate mostly on propagating the gospel of Christ, which means which is used to propagate the Christianity among the readers. And Dinavardamani is a weekly which came out in 1861, and later on, after publishing 7 years, it was seized. Many Telugu journals which were started to counterattack the missionary propaganda which started by Satyaduta. Among the newspapers which started to counterattack the missionary propaganda was Tattva Bodhini, which started publishing from 1864 onwards from Madras by the Veda Samaj. It became very popular after publishing a series of Rigveda. In the year 1985, Kandukuri Veerashalingam Pandulu, a great social reformer, and he started publishing Vivekavadini from Rajamandri as a weekly. It was devoted to language reform and education, and he is also considered as the father of Telugu journalism. Kandukuri Veerashalingam Pandulu dominated the social and cultural life of Telugu country in the latter half of the 19th century. He also started a magazine called Hasyavardhini, which is devoted to humor, and another weekly Satyavardhini and Sati Hitabodhini. Both the newspapers were devoted exclusively to women readers. At the same time, Venkataratnam Pantulu also brought out another weekly called Andhra Bhasha Sanjeevini to oppose the reformist school, which was represented by the Kandukuri Veerashalingam Pantulu. The first news weekly, Andhra Prakashika, which was started by AP Padasarathi Naidu, which started publishing from 1885 onwards as a supporter of the National Congress. Another newspaper called Shashikala, which started publishing from 1894 onwards by Gattupalli Sesacharyalu. It was the first weekly to campaign for the unification of Telugu speaking areas. Another publication, Krishna Patrika, which was started publishing to as an instrument of political education by veteran Congress leader Konda Venkatappaya Garu in Guntur from 1902 onwards on behalf of the Krishna District Association. And Mutturi Krishna Rao, he took over the charge of Krishna Patrika in 1907, and it played a remarkable role in the freedom battle. We have Andhra Patrika, which is a unique place in the history of Telugu journalism. It was started as a weekly in Bombay in the year 1908. It was started by K. Nageshwar Rao Pantulu. A notable editor in the early days was Sheshagiri Rao, who strove hard to put the Patrika firmly on its feet and make it truly the voice of Telugu nationalism. After his death, again Nageshwara Rao took over the editorship himself, and he continued until 1938. And he was a devoted follower of Mahatma Gandhi. When Andhra province was formed after the reorganization of the states, the Patrika shifted to Vijayawada, and it is also published from Hyderabad now. There were many obstacles for the growth of press in Hyderabad state because of the education which was offered during that time in Urdu language. The impact of the education had in Andhra as part of the Madras Presidency was lacking in Hyderabad because of it was ruled by the Nizams. This was an important reason for the delayed awakening in Telangana. Another important obstacle was the discouragement given to the language of the majority, the Telugu language. Urdu, as it was the official language and it was spoken by a small sector and the majority, that was 86% of the population, they used to speak in Telugu, Marathi, and Kannada. The Nizam was keen on evolving an educational policy which was directed at replacing the local languages by Urdu. The state aided education was given only through Urdu or English. Telugu journalism had a late start in Telangana region as late as from 1913 onwards. Hitabodhini, it which was edited by Srinivasa Sharma, was the earliest Telugu weekly which was published from Mahbub Nagar, and Telugu journals which had faced a lot of problems during the Nizam's rule in Telangana state. In 1920s, two weeklies were started in Telangana. One was Telugu Patrika from Inugurti, and the other one is Nilagiri Patrika from Nalgonda. And both of them were seized after 1926. Suravaram Pratapareddy founded the Golakonda Patrika in the year 1925 as a weekly, and after some time it became a daily and served the Telangana people well for a number of years. After Pratapareddy, N. Narottama Reddy, he became the editor of Golakonda Patrika. In the year 1927, Sujata, cultural mantri, also was started and continued for some time. Telugu Talli, Vibhuti, Divyavani, Andhra Kesari, and Andhra Abhyudayam were some of the more notable monthlies and weeklies which were used to publish from Hyderabad. In 1945, Meesan, a Telugu daily, was founded under the editorship of Adavi Bapuraju. He was a poet and painter. The Telangana was another daily which was started publishing from Telangana, was started by Bokapatnam Ramanujachari. The formation of Andhra state in 1953 gave a fillip to Telugu journalism. Four dailies which were started at the same time were Andhra Janata, which started from publishing from Hyderabad, Andhra Bhumi, Rajamandri, uh, then Rajamandri Samacharam, which started publishing from Rajamandri, and Vishalandra, which started publishing from Vijayawada. In 1974, a new Telugu daily, as you already know, well-known Telugu newspaper called Eenadu, which was launched by Cherukuri Ramoji Rao, who is the founder of Eenadu Daily, which started publishing from 1974 and which created a sensation in the record of the Telugu journalism. During the Telangana movement, again there was a newspaper called Namaste Telangana was also launched after the formation of Telangana state. Nava Telangana, which started publishing from 2014. Mana Telangana also started from 2014, which publishing from Telangana state. During the Nizam's rule, the Telugu press was under the control of the British government, and the Nizam government did not allow even private institutions to impart education in the Telugu language. Then the people of Telangana state were denied the most elementary rights of citizenship, though the Nizams announced the formation of Executive and Legislative Council in 1919 with Sir Ali Imam as the president. The people did not enjoy the civil liberties, and the Andhra Janasangam, which was formed in 1922, aimed at socio-economic cultural revival of people of Telangana. They made great efforts to open the Telugu schools, libraries, publish Telugu books, and promote historical research. Latter half of the 19th century, a number of newspapers and journals which started in Urdu language, Persian, Telugu, Marathi, English, and they started publishing from Telangana state. Some of the restrictions which were made on the publications in the publication should not write against the British or the Nizams, and the Urdu newspapers like Shaukatul Isman refused to sign agreement and commented upon it very strong language, with the result that it was suppressed. So the first Telugu journal, which was started in 1912 by Srinivasa Sharma from Mahbub Nagar, it was called as Hita Bodhini. He also started a printing press called Sarojini Vilas, but later on it could not sustain, and later it was closed down after publishing 2 years. In 1917, Swami Venkatarao of the Divine Society started a monthly journal called Andhra Mat from Secunderabad, but even that could not survive beyond 8 months. A series of Telugu publications began from 1920s onwards, but they also could not survive due to the harassment by the government, especially the publication those who raised voice in protest against the autocratic rule of the government or demanded more freedom of speech. Some of the weeklies and journals which were started at that time are the first one is 1920 Sita Ramachandra Rao and Raghava Rangarao. They started a weekly called Telugu Patrika. Yes, Narasimha Rao started a weekly in 1920 that called as Nilagiri, which started publishing from Nalgonda district. In 1920, a newspaper called Andhra Abhyudayam also started in 1923. Saiva Prachar in Nijam, which was started publishing from Warangal in 1925. Sri Bhaskar started a bi-weekly from Secunderabad that is called as Nedu. In 1925, Bhagya Reddy started a fortnightly called Bhagyanagar Patrika. In 1925, Golconda Patrika was started by Suravaram Pratap Reddy. In 1927, P.N. Sharma started a newspaper called Sujata. In 1934, D. Sharma started a monthly newspaper from Secunderabad. It called Deccan Kesari. Srimati R. Satyavati Devi started a monthly which started publishing from Secunderabad, that is called Telugu Talli. Veerabhadra Sharma started another monthly which is started publishing from Secunderabad, that is called Vibhuti. In 1945 also saw the birth of two Telugu dailies, namely Telangana and Mizan. The Telangana was financed by Rajagopal Modaliar and Mizan was published by a Calcutta wala. The Telangana was edited by B.R. Chari and Mizan was edited by Adavi Bapiraju. D. Ramanujarao started a monthly called Shobha from Warangal. This was stopped during the Razakar movement and it was revived again in year 1950s. Pratandini was a Telugu monthly in classical Telugu, which was started publishing from 1842. We have already discussed Vivekavardhini was started publishing from 1874 October by the Kandukuri Veereshalingam Pantulu. It was started publishing as a monthly journal from Rajamandri. It was closed down in the year 1890. Kandukuri Veereshalingam Pantulu, he started publishing another journal called Satya Samvardhini in the year 1891 and Satyavadini in the year 1905. Deshabhimani published from Bezawada as a weekly in the year 1896. The editor of the Deshabhimani was Devaguptam Sesha Chalapati. Krishna Patrika started as a weekly started publishing from 1902 onwards. It was started by Konda Venkatappaya and Dasu Narayan Rao. They were the first editors of this Krishna Patrika, and later Mutnuri Krishna Rao he succeeded Konda Venkatappaya garu from 1907 onwards. Swarajya, another newspaper, this came out in the year 1908 from Besavada under the editorship of Gadicherla Harisarvottama Rao. Sharada was another high-class monthly which was launched by Kouta Sri Rama Shastri, which was founded in Masulipatnam. Generally, it was also called as Machilipatnam in the year 1922. Patabi Sitaramaya, he also started a newspaper called Janmabhumi in English. It started publishing as a weekly from 1919 onwards. English daily Swarajya, which started published Hindu, also started in Telangana. Eminent journalists in Telugu, Kashinaduni Nageshwara Rao. Kashinaduni Nageshwara Rao was the one who started Andhra Patrika on August 9th, 1909. He started Andhra Patrika as a weekly and published it from Bombay. He also brought out annual supplements with plenty of illustrations and special articles of literary, cultural, political interest. He shifted his weekly to Madras from April 1st, 1914. Nageshwar Rao also started another monthly called Bharati in December 1923. It is an illustrated magazine mainly which is devoted to literature, art and culture and also history. Kandukuri Veerashalingam Pantulu, Rai Bahadur Kandukuri Veerashalingam Pantulu, he started publishing Telugu newspaper called Vivekavadini, which is completely dedicated to social reform and language reform. Kandukuri Veerashalingam Pantulu also prominent social reformer who advocated eradication of child marriages, caste system, and prostitution in Telugu states. He also propagated rehabilitation of fallen women, widow remarriage, and other things were also propagated in these newspapers. Pantulu's journals are credited with development of popular Telugu prose. Then Pantulu also founded three other journals to advocate women, and Hasya Samvardhini, which is a promoter of laughter, humor, etc., and Satyavadini to protect the truth, advocate of truth. Devagupta Seshachala Rao. Devagupta Seshachala Rao started Deshabhimani, the first as a fortnightly, then he started it as a weekly, then bi-weekly. Mutnuri Krishnarao. Mutnuri Krishnarao, he is the editor of the Krishna Patrika. Konda Venkatapaya and Vasunarayan Rao, they started the newspaper called Krishna Patrika. It started publishing from February 2nd, 1902. Venkatapaya used to edit the Krishna Patrika till 1905. After him, Mutnuri Krishna Rao, he took over the charge as the editor of the Krishna Patrika. Press after the formation of the Telangana state. After the formation of the Telangana state, many changes came into existence in print and electronic media. Some of the news channels like ETV, which started their broadcasting ETV Telangana and ETV Andhra Pradesh. DD Yadagiri, it is continued to operate from the Ramantapur Doordarshan office. The channel also highlights the Telangana culture and the dialect. Telangana State Press Academy was established after the formation of the Telangana state. Later, the Telangana government changed the nomenclature of the Press Academy to Media Academy of Telangana state. After the formation, two major newspapers which were launched in Telangana are Mana Telangana and Nava Telangana. Mana Telangana is a seed of Vishalandra Telugu newspaper, and Nava Telangana is the seed of Prajashakti newspaper. English newspaper like Telangana Today was launched in the year 2016. There are many other small newspapers launched with the title of Telangana. All the leading Telugu newspapers giving separate editions to Telangana and Andhra Pradesh.